What's going on, YouTube? This is Reaper, and I am back with another video. Alright, everybody. Happy March, everybody. Happy 2026. Alright, I've been kind of relaxing and kind of enjoying my free time in the last couple weeks, but I have been paying attention to social media, and I have been paying attention to what is going on at Microsoft's uh basically ground zero of destruction. I gotta admit, I called this back in 2018. I said that if Phil Spencer was not going to be the savior, nobody is for Xbox. And I gotta admit that I did not see this ploy coming from a decade away, but I kind of knew Satya, being smart as he was, he did actually know how to kill Xbox without having to lift a finger. And I got to admit that way and that purpose that most casuals and most fanboys don't understand is all you got to do to kill video games, my man. All you got to do, all you got to do is give the authority to a female. All you got to do is give it to a non-gaming actual female that wants nothing more and nothing less than the absolute destruction of a man's favorite hobby that keeps men away from females. You give the keys to the actual kingdom, the kingdom of, paradise, to an absolute nobody female, and that female is going to reap utter total brand destruction in under 12 months or less. I promise you this, people. I promise you this. And I even said back in 2018 and before that, if Phil Spencer was not going to be the actual savior that everybody thought he would be, that the brand would die soon after that, right? Well, now that Phil Spencer finally screwed up his absolute, miracle of a lasting survival, I got to admit that giving the full authority to the Xbox brand to a non-gaming girl is a beautiful way to basically shut the brand down without having to actually do anything about it. I got to admit, yeah, to kill a man's hobby, all you got to do is give it the authority to a female and watch it totally destruct like a nuke from Call of Duty. But I got to admit, it is actually quite funny because I was like, yeah, no, Phil might pull it off, but I doubt it because he didn't. He was working against, a clock that he basically was running out of time on, and he didn't know what else he could do to actually bring the brand forward, which I think is actually kind of funny. But overall, I think it is actually quite amusing that, all these fanboys think that, Xbox is doomed, Xbox is gonna die, so on and so forth. And I think that's actually kind of funny, but overall, I think, the way to kill Xbox is just give it to a girl. That's as simple as it goes, which I thought was actually kind of funny. But overall, I think that most people don't understand that hobbies live or die by those who are in charge of it. And the easiest way to kill a man's hobby is just give it to the opposite sex. That's as simple as I can put it, people. I'm sorry. And it's actually gonna be mad funny to see how badly or how positive she is a influence on the Xbox brand in general. I like that she has, spirit. I like that she actually has confidence in what she's doing, but I really don't think she's going to pull it off. I think she's going to sink a deeper ditch, and Xbox is going to fall right through it because I do not trust females. And guys can call me sexist, you guys can call me prejudiced all you want, but lo and behold, the fact that I've actually survived this world for since I was, since I've been on my own since I was 17, and the fact that I have not had a relationship in 21 years, people, kind of proves my point. Men do not need women to survive in this world. They do not. They do not. They only go to women when they want ultimate destruction of whatever they love. Yep. Whenever you want to destroy something you love, you automatically give it to the opposite sex. they automatically destroy it automatically. It's just the way that their bodies and spirits are made. And it's just automatic destruction. And I could even do a couple jokes and a couple gifs of that thing. But I even sent a Twitter a X tweet to Satya Nadella telling him I give him credit, sir, because he's going for total brand destruction, and what better way to do that than to give it to a female? It's just like it's mad easy. He should have done that 5-6 years ago when he was trying to get rid of Phil Spencer the first time. But I got to admit that, maybe the girl wasn't working there yet, so he couldn't have that authority to do that yet. But now that we are in that situation, full steam ahead to destruction of Xbox people. I gotta give it credit because it's gonna be absolutely, absolutely phenomenal to see a female, totally dismantle the hard 25-year work that these men have done to this platform. And to give it to a girl is just, it's just utter suicide. That's just what Satya is doing. It's utter suicide. You give brand authority to a female, that brand is gonna soon die. That's just total facts. That's been proven in past histories of different industries. You never give a man's job to a woman. If you do that, you're asking for it to be destroyed. That's kind of what you're kind of basically walking into. Now, granted, she is a millennial. She is current generation. Maybe she has more brains than boomers. We will see. But I doubt it. 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 Females are a worthless state in humanity, and they don't deserve any type of authority as far as you can throw them. So I'm kind of curious on how well this is going to work out, but I have my doubts because I do not trust women in men industry. I just don't. I simply just don't. And I know that Satya is really trying to go for the jugular and the instant kill on the brand when he basically gives the authority to a girl. And I got to admit that that is actually quite humorous and quite, it's kind of a sim a a simple path of poetic justice, I got to admit, because the only way that the green was ever going to die is if you gave it to an absolute, opposite sex. That's basically, and even the OG Xbox people knew that, even the 360 people knew that, even the Xbox One people knew that. They never trusted women in industry whatsoever freaking ever. And there are a few cases where women have actually done good for the industry. I won't deny that, but those are very, very, very far in between situations of women. And I got to admit that most of those women that do have success are Asian, or they are European. They are not American. So I think giving it to a Indonesian girl is just, oh, it's just asking to put a gun to your forehead and blow the trigger. That's basically what you're doing to the Xbox, is what you're finally doing, Satya. So I give you credit, sir. You knew how to kill the brand without Phil Spencer. It was really easy. All you got to do is just give it to a female. That's how simple it can get. But I got to admit that this is going to be kind of funny to watch the total destruction of the brand we have all known and loved for 25 years. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see the total destruction unfold as a female takes the helm and basically drives the Titanic of the Xbox brand into a fiery pit of an iceberg, and watch it sink as it has basically worked for 25 years to stay alive, and all it needed to die was basically a female's in control. And that's basically how it's going to end. But I called it, didn't I, people? I called it. I said that, Phil might not be the end for Xbox, but whatever comes after Phil will be. And I got to admit that I was right. I called it. Even Satya was a little bit more clever than I gave him credit for, but he knew exactly how to destroy the brand without lifting a finger. And all he had to do was just give a female, CEO control. That's all he had to do. That was as simple as it gets. But I repeat myself, gamers, do not trust females in this hobby. Do not. Do not, do not, do not. That is the dumbest decision you can ever make as a industry leader, as a platform leader, as a gamer. And I pray that this is not the end of Team Green, but I have my doubts now that Phil is gone, now that the industry is basically on thin ice. I don't see this female turning the brand around. I just don't. I see this brand dying within 12 months or less. Now, people were saying, well, if Phil did his job, then Xbox won't die immediately. No, it won't. It will take at least 12 years for that work to be unraveled and basically flop harder than, basically a titanium brick hitting a window. But we will see, because I have a really dark feeling that this female is going to be the poetic justice and the end of the Xbox gaming platform as we know it. And that's just my prediction, people. I say give it 12 months or less, and this girl will destroy the brand we have all come to know and love. But that's just poetic justice, people. You want to kill a man's hobby? Give it to a girl. That's as simple as it gets. There's no other way around it, unfortunately, which is kind of funny. But overall, I hope everybody enjoyed this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed my 2 cents. And I will catch you guys on the next one. Later.